What's going on? Is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Spending another Vegas day, Vegas morning. It is 8:40 Vegas time, which means that it's really 11:40 Eastern. I'm still operating off of Eastern Standard Time. Because, you know, we got work to do. We got business to take care of. And we're going to be in Vegas for a little bit, so I'm going to be vlogging. Hopefully, y'all checked out the vlog that I dropped yesterday on Anton Daniels. It is absolutely sensational. And I'm going to be doing a lot more long-form content. In addition to that, check out all of the videos inside of the Patreon. Also released an exclusive interview in addition to a video inside of the Patreon that shows you how it is that I'm able to make over $500,000 a year outside of content creation, outside of my regular job, outside of real estate, outside of web development companies, and all of that, right? So tap into the Patreon. But specifically what I want to talk to you guys about is the 3 things that I've always been taught growing up that will save you from fumbling the bag and will ensure that you always make the right decision when it comes to getting that money, right? And so let me break it down for you a little bit. The first thing, and this is the most important thing, is never, ever, ever by any means necessary. Now listen to me. I know a lot of y'all gonna disagree with the first one, but I gotta break it down for you. Never, ever, do whatever you wanna do, never sleep with a married woman, all right? Let me tell you why. There's nothing worse and more hurtful for a guy than to find out that his chick is getting, you hear them laughing back there? Than to find out that his chick is getting buzzed down by another dude. Now, I know y'all say, listen, don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hold the dude responsible. Like, hold her responsible. I feel you. I'm 100% on board with all of that. But you can't rationalize and negotiate with a dude that don't care nothing about what it is that you think. They will come after you and take your head. Now, aside from the moral aspect of it, because obviously, listen, it's just lines in my opinion personally that you don't cross. And I just think that staying away from women who a guy loved enough to actually give his last name to, especially if she got kids. Oh my God, if she got kids, it's over. Especially if she got kids. But it's just playing with fire because it's less dependent on you, and it's also dependent on her in order for her to keep things on an up and up outside of, you know, the moral aspect of it and things like that. And so it's like an exponentially worse situation that can pop up if she get caught. It's exponentially a lot more likely for her to get caught simply because you got to stay on the up and up. If you're not in the mix and you're not supposed to be getting caught up in no nonsense, and she got to get out of the mix. And then if she get caught in the mix, you got to worry about possibly that coming back to you. It's just not worth it. Since a young kid, we've always stood on the idea that you never, ever, it's too many women in the world, it's too much opportunity. You ain't got to be desperate enough to actually mess with a chick that's married. And if you don't know whether or not she in a relationship or married, nowadays, it's all the way if she in a relationship. Now, I'm not going to push it that far. But you got to stay away from these chicks that's married. It's just not worth it.
Anton.
That's me, bro.
That's good, bro.
Chilling. What's your name, bro?
Shamar.
Oh, you gotta be in the vlog.
You gotta do a shout out.
What's happening?
What's good? You already know with the boy Anton Daniels.
Yeah.
My boy be having all Charleston on there. Charleston funny as hell.
What's your IG, bro?
Easy Shade.
Easy.
Yeah.
You gotta spell it for the people. So
EAZYSHAE.
How long you here for, big dog?
Till tomorrow.
Okay, how long you been here?
Till since Friday. It's my good
You ain't lost no money, dude.
Hell no, I'm about to though. I'm about to tonight.
Hey, you know you gonna take some home.
You right.
All right, big dog.
Appreciate it, man.
Yep. I love the people. As soon as I pull the camera out, I always run into somebody. It seemed like as soon as I pull the camera out, I had a long conversation with somebody on the bus too. But the second thing, and this is what I was taught as a young guy, right? The second thing is you never, ever sleep with or lay next to somebody that you do not feel comfortable with closing your eyes next to because then they control your fate. Now, this may seem like a small thing, or listen, people sleep with people all the time. I think that people are reckless, and that's why they find themselves in situations to where they can't control the outcome. They have kids out of wedlock, they get sued. Now, of course, we all know, this goes without saying, there's always gonna be situations where you can't control, right? Somebody felt comfortable enough to get married to somebody, but it don't mean that it necessarily translated into a long-term relationship, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta take all of that into consideration also. But when I made the decision to get married, I made the decision based off of the fact that I was aligning myself with, at the time, my best friend, who was wind up turning out to be one of the biggest assets that I have, and she's a phenomenal mother. But this advice always kept me focusing on the straight and narrow, because it was drilled into my head and seared into my head, these three things. And the number two one being, never lay down with or close your eyes next to somebody that you don't trust with your life. This goes for casual relationships. This goes for all of that, right? I can't just align myself with a bust down. I don't understand how dudes is taking chicks to their crib that they just met. You don't know what this chick got in her body. It's like a loaded gun. And I guess it's that, you know, what you don't see don't hurt you type of mentality. But how can you lay down or put your seed in, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just that much of a square. But square lives matter because squares win. Squares win in the long term. We get richer, we become way more successful. We make smarter decisions that don't find ourselves in circumstances where somebody can then say, yo, we should or shouldn't do something, or it's left up to what the judge is gonna say, or family court and all of that. With all of the evidence and the things that we have in our lives, why continue to put yourself in that situation? And so, again, I was largely taught to never sleep with somebody that you can't close your eyes next to and feel 100%, not 99.9, not 75%, not a 50-50 chance, feel 100% comfortable with the idea that that person controls your fate and your life is in their hands. And last but not least, under no circumstances do you ever place a woman before your bag. And that goes for any circumstance, for life. I got the express trim that's coming over there. You never place a woman before your bag. And let me give you a little bit of context, because a lot of people will say, you know, oh man, worship money, all of this other type of stuff. It's not. It's just that I understand that grinding and hustling, right? The thing that you're grinding and hustling for is the resources to be able to take care of the people that mean the most to you. If you then fumble in the bag, then how is it that you actually having their best interests at heart? I see people all the time that they say they love each other, but then they leave their chick or they leave their kid with absolutely nothing but debt. And then what happens is they wind up having to have a fish fry or a GoFundMe in order to be able to bury him. That's crazy. The additional context is, I know guys that have called off of work in order to please a woman, or they'll make modifications to the way in which they live their life and make less money in order to go over into a way in which somebody is requesting for them to actually spend more time and stuff like that. Listen, baby girl, I gotta grind, I gotta hustle. And the thing that I've always told the people that's around me is, let me get it for the next 5 to 10 years, and then we can spend the rest of our life doing whatever it is that we want to do. And so I think that too many men, and again, this is just the ways that I was taught, I think too many men are transitioning over into thinking like women instead of doing what they know is best, and then having the women in their lives subject themselves to them, knowing that what you're doing is actually more beneficial for them also. But because they don't stand on their square, because they don't actually lean into the thing that their father taught them, or they were raised by single women in which, you know, their fathers wasn't in their lives, they don't stand on their square and they don't abide by any of the three, right? And so, again, make sure that you get your money. Don't ever, ever, ever in any circumstance let a woman knock you off your square from getting your bag. Stay away from chicks that got a different last name because some dude loved her enough in order to put his last name on her. And then last but not least, make sure you stay focused you know, with the people that you close your eyes next to, because that can be the end of the conversation right there, if you know what I'm talking about. I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm out.